Okay, fantastic. Right, now, last but by no means least, we have our very own Greenwood Campbell videographer, Andy Potter. So, Andy, who's going to speak next, joined the team just 6 short months ago. But his capabilities, his knowledge, his enthusiasm, and for all things digital movement of video have made him a massively invaluable member of our team.
So tonight, Andy is going to discuss the world of Instagram stories. Now, for those of you in the audience who don't follow Andy currently on social media, I can highly recommend it. It is a hoot. I actually feature on a few of Andy's Instagram stories myself. Some of them are safe for work, some of them are terribly not safe for work. But Andy's going to tell us all about it right now. So, ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for our last speaker, Andy Potter.
Right, I'm going to stand this side, I think. Well, thank you very much for the lovely, warm introduction. That was wonderful. So not only have they put me on last, but they've put me after the lady that's done TEDx speaking. So that doesn't seem very fair for the newbie, right? So I know we're all desperate to kind of, come off and get drinking and get eating and stuff. But I've got a couple of things I really, really want to talk to you about tonight that I think are really, really relevant and something you can pick up on today and move forward and use in your own business, okay? So we've talked about the future of marketing and some of the AR stuff and the VR stuff and bots, and it's all very exciting, and I bet your heads are spinning. But again, I've got something for you tonight that I think really that you can take away today. So as Adam mentioned, that's my profile on Instagram. I want you all to just go on there and just follow me on Instagram. I've got a couple of stories at the top there, which I think you might find interesting. So head on there. So a little bit about me before we start then. So I'm a filmmaker, photographer. Been in the industry now for about 8 years. There's been a couple of very crucial differences in the 8 years that I've been going in. Number one is, when I first started in my career, I was shooting exclusively photography, and those photos would end up on people's websites. So a lot of people were getting new websites and they wanted to move away from stock, etc. But now actually I find myself shooting probably about 80% video. So that is a huge change, I think, really, from still photos, and now people are engaging with video content. You've only really got to think about your sort of Facebook feeds. If you go back and use Time Hop, something like that, and you look at old posts, they would mainly be text-based from like 2008, 2009. Now everything's a video, right? I mean, you scroll down your feed and it's all video, it's all auto-playing. You decide there and then in a split second whether you're interested or whether you're not. So again, just think about that. The other change is the duration of video. So I would produce videos of 3.5, 4 minutes, something like that. That would be perfectly acceptable. Now I work to about a minute, or even sometimes like 15 seconds. These are the sorts of videos that I'm producing these days for brands. So the two things I want to talk about tonight: stackable content and live interaction, so live feeds, things like that. Again, these are two things that we can take away with us today that I really, really think are going to be interesting. So, content is king, right? We all know this. Bit of a cliche, thanks Bill Gates, but we kind of know that producing and sharing engageable content is really the key to anyone's marketing strategy. If it isn't, it really should be, because that's the way that people are going to interact with your brand. We here at Greenwood Campbell, it's up big bold letters on the side there, know thy user. We really have done our research. Thank you very much, Nick. Very wonderfully. Do the flick again. I quite like that. Oh, there we go. There we go. So we really believe in this mantra, and it's something really I hope that you guys can take away with you today. Do your research. Know where your users are hanging out online. There are so many different platforms these days. It's not just Facebook. It's not just Twitter. There is Instagram. There's so many different places to go. So really, really, really find out where your users are going. Business to business people in the audience, don't switch off. Stay with me. I promise you that the trends, we know already that business to business follows business to consumer. And again, we look to Facebook for that. We know that perhaps 5 years ago, business to business people would be saying, why do I need to be on Facebook? That's where kids go, right? That's where, uni students go, and etc. Now all you guys are on there. So really think about that. We also, it pains me to say it, we have to look to the US as well for some of the forthcoming trends. So a lot of the research I was doing for tonight's presentation was coming from the US. and we know it's going to land here. It is already here. So we've been talking about future technology a lot, but actually what I'm talking about tonight is already here. It just needs to be adopted. So millennials, this is one that surprised me actually, because when this term first came out, I didn't think it was me, but actually it's anyone born between the 1980s and 2000s. So I think looking across the room, bar a few, not you, Smithson, that would be pretty much most people in this audience. And if it isn't, then your audience may fall into that category. So something to bear in mind. There are some common traits in millennials. We've touched on a couple tonight. So Ian spoke about how millennials really don't like talking to humans. So that's why we're adopting bots. But another trait of millennials is they think so quickly. So if your content isn't engaging, they move on. You don't get a second chance. You have to engage immediately or they will move on. And that's going to tie in with the stackable content that I'm going to talk about in a minute. So who here uses Instagram stories? Couple of hands going up. I want to see a hand up at the back there from an R&LI. You guys definitely use it.
I know Adam Green would definitely use it.
There's a few there. I'd say probably about a 50-50 split. Okay. So let me explain what Instagram Stories is. So up at the top of your Instagram feed, you'll see behind your avatars there at the top is Instagram Stories, basically. It's very much like a Snapchat. So Facebook, who own Instagram, actually added this to their app at the end of last year. So it's a relatively new feature. They acquired Instagram for, I think it was something like $100 billion. So a huge amount. And they've added this stories into all of their apps. So it does exist on Facebook. It exists in WhatsApp, and it exists now, obviously, in Instagram. Now, the interesting thing is, not many people have taken it up on Facebook. We don't see it very often. It is there at the top. It's quite subtle, but it's there. And it's interesting how people are turning to Instagram now, rather than Snapchat or Facebook or anywhere else that they try and put it on. So there is an appetite for this stackable content. 250 million daily users. That is huge. To give you some sort of context, Snapchat had 160 daily million users. So this is a figure this figure here has risen from 100 million in just 8 months. So it's absolutely shot up. People are really taking this up. So let's do a bit of a live demo, shall we? So you should all hopefully be on the Wi-Fi by now, but I want you all to pull out your phones, please, and all jump onto Instagram. Now I'm gonna do a live demo on the screen, which could be risky, but we're gonna do it. We're gonna try it. Okay. So pull out your phones, everybody, and jump onto Instagram. Am I on the screen? I am. Brilliant. Now I'm going to show you very quickly what Instagram Stories is and how to do it. We're just going to do one together now, okay? So you've got your... I'll come over here so I can... Can everyone see me over here? Is that all right? A couple of guys in the front row, maybe not. But so this is your Instagram Stories at the top here. It's very different to the actual app itself with the normal traditional posts, okay? Now what I want you to do is hit the camera icon in the top left, okay? Pull out your phone. Now... You've got a couple of options here. Okay, there's all sorts of features. We're not going to go through them all now. But basically, the big button in the middle bottom there, if you press and hold, you can record a video. If you press once, you can take a photo. I'm not seeing many phones here. Come on, hold them up, guys. There's some people frantically downloading Instagram and signing in. Okay, so I'm going to take a video of you guys now, okay? So everybody say hi. GC Fablers, say hello. Give us a wave. Fantastic. There we go. That's brilliant. And then you can swipe. So there's different filters there that you can have. So you can put your filter on. You can put locations, all sorts of silly, wonderful things. Again, I'm not going to go through all the details right now. But what I will do is just put a little location on there, and I'm going to put a tag on there as well. So I'm going to go at Greenwood Campbell. There it is. Okay, perfect. And then that's it. Just hit add to my story, and there it goes, okay? And that will live up behind my avatar there for 24 hours, and then it will disappear. That's it. So you guys are probably thinking now, well, what's the point? I'm generating all this great content, it just disappears after 24 hours. Well, this is the way that people are engaging with content. Like it or not, that's just the way it is now. So I'm going to set you guys a little bit of a competition. You've all done your one story now, so you're in the club, okay? Now we've got DJ, drinks, party, food, everything happening tonight. So I want you all to do a little story for this evening. Tag us at Greenwood Campbell, okay, and the location if you can as well. And we will choose the best story from this evening and we will deliver you a bottle of champagne, okay? So can't say fairer than that. So I need there's a couple of faces that are going, yeah, I'm going to win that. So really, like, guys, get on it. Really do it, because it's going to be great fun, and I promise you'll be addicted. So a little bit of background. Basically, I tried Snapchat, downloaded it, used it for a while, absolutely hated it. Just did not like the user experience in the app at all. So in January of this year, I set myself a challenge. You know, I've got to get on this stackable content. I've got to find a way. So I went onto Instagram, started doing stories. I said I'd post one a day for 3 months, and if I don't like it, fair enough. Actually, I fell in love with it. I do it every day now, and everyone's probably sick of my stories, but it's great content and it does engage. So definitely something you guys should take up. Okay, right, we'll go back a slide. Okay, so Instagram for business. So this isn't just for, selfies and pictures of food and, silly things like that with glasses on. Okay, this can actually be used in a business sense. One of the great things about it is these stories take up the whole of your screen. So you've got full screen real estate with these stories. There's a couple of case studies we're going to touch on in a minute, but I want to explain how we here at Greenwood Campbell use our Instagram and our stories, and that is we use it for recruitment. So we've done our Know Thy User research. Hello. We're being live streamed, by the way. We've done our user research. We know that we want to engage with millennials, so we know it's the perfect platform. These are the guys that we want in through the doors to work for us. So we've optimized our profile, and that's what we use it for. We want to show how cool we are here at GEC. So that's what we use R for. I'll breeze over this. I know you guys are kind of, like I said, wanting to have a drink, so I'll breeze over these. You can come and find me afterwards anyway, but my top recommendations are post multiple times every day. Okay, so it's not just a post once and forget about it like it might be in your news feed. This is really something, again, stackable content. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 posts, whatever it might be. Just keep it coming. People will interact. If they don't want to do it, they just skip on. Keep your stories light-hearted behind the scenes. That's just a bit of a personal thing for me. I know there's a couple of people in the audience that use it for that sort of thing. Works really well. Use the live video feature, which I'll touch on in a minute. Be creative and tell great stories, okay? That's something you've heard a little bit tonight, is storytelling is being the key. It's really, really true. So just having strong visuals these days is no longer enough to be engaging. Telling a great story is really going to help you as well. So don't just take my word for it. There are some huge brands that are really, really taking up and investing in this. So there's a pretty big list that, yes, I appreciate these are all business to consumer. However, as I said before, business to business will always follow business to consumer. Now, Airbnb, this is one that I want to touch on. So this is a prime example, in my opinion. Airbnb created a campaign where all they did is posted stories of a said destination, 15 seconds long. So let's say, for example, Paris. You had shots of the Eiffel Tower, the sunset, croissants, coffee, beautiful. You click onto the story, there it is. And all the user had to do is swipe up from the bottom, and without having to leave the app, that's really, really crucial, without having to launch another app, the website came up with the availability for that city. So that's absolutely huge. 125 million people were reached by that, and it was a huge success for Airbnb. Here's a big quote from Eric Toda, who is their global head of social marketing. And it's this last paragraph here that I really want to touch on. So they created a campaign. They really did their research. They created a campaign that was bespoke to that app. They knew that 15 seconds was the length. They knew it had to be portrait. And they knew, crucially, that they had to be subtle in their approach. So that's another trait for millennials. They don't necessarily want to know they're being marketed to. Aggressive marketing doesn't work anymore. It's been too long. So telling great stories, showing off a destination was really key to their success. Now, the other thing I want to touch on here tonight is live video. So there are a couple of different platforms to use with live video. You've got Facebook Live, YouTube Live, or Instagram Live. We are live now on Instagram. So it's worth knowing that there are multiple ways of doing this, okay? So let's have a look. Who knows what that means? Let's let the guests answer. Does anyone else know what it means? I saw a hand go. Chester, go on. Fear of missing out. Well guessed, well guessed. So yeah, so fear of missing out. Okay, this is a crucial one. Again, another millennial trait, okay? So you got the Oxford English Dictionary definition there. Fear of missing out. So when you do a live post on any of these streams, okay, it will send a notification out to all your followers to say, Greenwood Campbell has gone live. Someone will pick up their phone, sat at their desk eating crisps and think, well, I wonder what they're doing. And they will look on your profile because they are in fear of missing out. So really think about it. Before you go live, what is it you're going to publish? And make sure that it's definitely engaging. So this is a particularly interesting one for me as a videographer. So not too many years ago, probably 5, 6, 7 years ago, you needed this to go live. You had to hire a broadcast company with trucks, satellites, etc., etc. Now all you need is this, a smartphone. Pains me to say it. Doing myself out of business, but it's so true. You just need to engage with your customers, and all you need is a smartphone. I think probably the crucial thing about live streaming, and that's probably why we're talking about it here tonight, is because you can interact with your audience live. So you can say, hello, John or Mary or whoever it might be, and your customers will absolutely adore that. So just saying hi will build interaction with your live stream. So let's have a look at some top tips for live streaming. So choose the right platform. So know thy user. Kind of ramming this point home now. I'm hoping you're going to get it. But choose where your audience interacts. So if you don't have many followers on YouTube Live, don't use YouTube Live. If you've got a huge following on Instagram, then that's the place to go. Okay, and engage with your audience on there. Make it interactive, as I said before. Post before your live stream to tell people you're going to go live, so that people know that there's going to be something happening. And during, interact with them as well. And number 3 is capture the metrics. So there is a method behind this. It's not all a waste of time. You can capture data from, depending on which platform you're on, as to where people are, their demographic, what other brands they like. You know, there are tools out there to be able to pull data from this and improve future live streams. So we're almost at the end. Let's have a look at some of the takeaways that I want you to have a look at tonight. Again, know they use it, find out your audience, know where they're interacting, get on there and start using that app. Okay, that's really crucial. Don't just sit there and think, well, I don't use Instagram, so why should I be on there? Big mistake. Explore new ways to interact with your audience in a subtle way. Okay, so that is really crucial. Think back to Airbnb, okay? They simply showcased the destination. There was no graphics, there was no buy now, book here, book in 2 seconds or you're going to miss out, anything like that. It was purely just some wonderful visuals of destinations, and people did the rest themselves. They swiped up and booked. And number 3, tell great stories using Instagram or live streaming. So again, going back to the stories thing, it's really the stories that is going to get you through this. Okay, so it's no longer the strong visuals, it's the stories as well. A couple of notable mentions in the room, actually, which I forgot to mention when we were talking about stories. So RNLI recently put out a campaign across multiple platforms where they were talking about, you'll have to remind me, being safe in water, but it was cold water specifically, is that correct? Respect the water, hashtag respect the water, thank you. And they actually released that on Instagram stories as well as other platforms. But they were absolutely fantastic because they're appealing to an audience which is on Instagram already. The weather's hot, they're down the beach or whatever it might be. So they're getting crucial information through Instagram stories and just with some very simple text overlays, and they could swipe up to find out more. I know the guys from This Workspace use Instagram stories. Keep that up. Loving your Instagram stories. Absolutely brilliant. And Sunny Bird at the back, you guys use it for your updating people as to what you're doing in the day, right? Which is fantastic. It's a great idea. So you see a picture of the person, you say, what's so-and-so up to today? You swipe across and there's a little video, very short, 15-second video. Well, this is what I'm doing today. So behind the scenes, telling great stories. So well done to all of you guys. You've done really well. And the rest of the room, shame on you. You need to get on there now immediately. So normally at this point, we would do questions. However, I think we all want a drink, so I'm going to leave it there. But I will be at the back of the room sucking on a beer, so come and find me. And if you've got any questions, you can just see me over there.
Ladies and gentlemen, Andy Potter. Wow, that was absolutely awesome. So how do I follow that? So like Andy said, we're going to finish up very shortly. And there's going to be some wonderful food coming out. And if you guys want to ask Andy any questions, he's going to be right at the back of the room by the DJ sucking on a beer.
On a beer, I love it. So the Greenwood Campbell team, there's a few of us here this evening. So please, if something kind of sparked your interest, then have a chat with one of the members of the team. We've got some amazing food coming out shortly, courtesy of the awesome Heather Brown. And as with every good Greenwood Campbell event, the bar is stocked, so stay, enjoy, chat, mingle, and drink lots. And just a final reminder, the chatbot guide, please fill that in. The link is sitting in your email right now. So go to it, fill in a quick survey, and tomorrow we're going to send you that really in-depth chatbot guide. So that's it. Yeah,
don't forget your Instagram stories. Ladies and gentlemen, just a quick round of applause for Annie tonight. Thank you.
And Mr. Smithson.
Right, ladies and gentlemen, that's all we've got time for. So it's good night from me.
And good night from him.
Thank you very much. That's a wrap. That's a wrap.